Rogue striker drone detected. Rogue striker drone detected.
What's going on YouTube? Kamikazevondoom here with another Division 2 build video. Now this is going to be my Liberty build, my Liberty pistol build for PVE and PvP. I went ahead and showed you guys what it did to the Chungus on Heroic, what it does to name bosses, and also what it does in PvP. In result, this thing wrecks. It has great sustainability, and man oh man is the damage there. I was never really a pistol fan, and this is actually my first pistol build in the Division 2, so yeah, it's actually pretty fun. Now, shout out to the DoD, and let's get into it. Alright, so I will let you guys peruse the build from here while I explained everything else. Now, at the top, I am using the Demolitionist specialization. Reason for that is I am a huge fan of that specialization. For PvE, the grenade launcher does work. Actually, well, that and in conflict. And I also get the small laser pointer that gives me 7% crit chance. And I am using that on both of my primary and secondary weapons. But yeah, I don't know. You can use whatever specialization you want. I'm just using the demo just because I'm a fanboy of that Demolitionist. Now, for the weapons, I am using the Glory Days as my primary, the Baker's Dozen as my secondary, and the Liberty Pistol, obviously, for my sidearm. Now, the Liberty Pistol is my primary. If for some reason I'm not that close to the enemies, I won't use it, and then I can switch to either the Glory Days or the Baker's Dozen. Both of them do a lot of damage, and I can sustain that damage at really far ranges. Now, getting into the weapons themselves, starting off with the Glory Days. This is your named custom P416 AR. What makes it a named AR is it comes with a perfect talent. For example, this one is perfect nearsighted. I receive 100% stability at the cost of 35% optimal range. Now this one I've gotten up to 102.7k total damage, and that is with 15% AR damage, 20.5 health damage, and 22% optimal range. I'm not a huge fan of optimal range, but for this weapon in particular, it is nice to kind of offset that perfect nearsighted a little bit. Now as far as attachments go, I'm using basically all crit based. So I have the rugged mini reflex for 5% crit chance, the small laser pointer for 7% crit chance, and the muzzle brake for another 5% crit chance. So out of these three attachments, I get 17% crit chance for my AR. That's pretty good. Now for the magazine, I am using the sturdy extended mag. That bumps my magazine size up to that 50 round mag. Going to the secondary, this is the Baker's Dozen. It is your named classic M1A, one of my favorite weapons in the game. And yes, they did nerf it and then reverse the nerf and then did like a PvP nerf. But yeah, with all that said and done, here she is in all her glory. Now, what makes it a named weapon is that perfect talent. And this one is perfect lucky shot. Magazine capacity is increased by 30%, and all my missed shots from cover will be returned to my magazine. Now I've gotten this one up to 505.4k total damage, and that is with 15% rifle damage, 17% crit chance, and 24% optimal range. Going into the attachments, again, crit chance for the optic and crit chance for the laser pointer. I am using the tightly packed magazine to bump up my magazine size up to that 19. Now, the star of the show, the reason everyone is here is for the Liberty pistol. This one is a beast. 608.8k total damage. It's amazing. And the best part is my core attribute is not even maxed out, so you can actually bump this up probably to 610k if you really wanted to be nasty. Now, for the other attribute, I do have maxed out damage to targets out of cover, so I get to do a lot more damage than just that 608k. Now, this exotic pistol comes with an exotic talent. This one, Liberty or Death. You gain a stack on each hit, goes up to 30. Your headshots consume all these stacks and they repair your shield by 3% per stack. So if you're sitting there laying into enemies in their chests, bumping up the stacks, you know that your shield health is getting a little bit low. Just hit the next enemy in the head and you get to consume all those stacks and your shield health will go right back to where it was. It's really nice. Really good weapon. I personally have not used this weapon at all until, I don't know, a few days ago, and I'm a huge fan. I probably should have tried this out when it first came out, but it is what it is. Now, as far as the build, now I am using a lot of named items. I have a named backpack, mask, chest piece, and a holster. So this might take you a while to farm these pieces, but I promise you, once you put them together and the way I did it, you will not, oh man, it's so nice. Anyways, getting into the mask. This is your punch drunk named Douglas and Harding mask. For the Douglas and Harding, I get the 20% pistol damage, which is pretty key for this build. Also, what comes with the punch drunk is the 20% headshot damage. So you already know that with the Liberty or Death talent that you want to hit headshots eventually, if not all the time. So getting that 20% buff is pretty nice. I rolled on there 15% weapon damage, and it came with skill haste at 10.8%. Skill haste is actually pretty nice to have with that shield. I actually wish I had more skill haste on this build. Now it does have one red mod slot, so I threw on their crit chance at 5.3%. This is the gift. It is your named Providence Defense backpack. Now I do have two pieces of Providence on for this build, so I get the 10% headshot damage and the 10% crit chance from the brand set bonuses. This backpack is not perfect in any way, shape, or form, but it's the only one I've ever gotten, so I have to take advantage of that. Now, it also came with status effects and weapon handling, both that I do not want. I'd rather have, crit chance, crit damage, headshot damage, skill haste, the list goes on. But it is what it is, like I said, not too worried about it. As far as the mod, it does come with a red mod slot, so I threw on their crit chance at 5.4%. And the gift is your named Providence backpack. And with it being that, you do get that perfect talent. This one, perfect vigilance. It increases your total weapon damage by 25%. Taking damage disables this buff for 3 seconds. Now, you are using a shield in this build. And like you guys saw when I was taking care of that Chungus on Heroic, I didn't take any damage at all, so I had perfect vigilance proc the entire time. Now PvP, it's a little different. If someone sneaks up behind you and shoots you in the back, obviously it's going to mess with your perfect vigilance, but as long as you have the enemies in front of you, in front of your shield, you're good to go, promise you. Now for the chess piece, this is the named Gilligard chess piece called the Point Man. Now Point Man has another perfect talent, obviously this one Perfect Vanguard. Every time I deploy a shield, it becomes invulnerable for 5 seconds, and it grants 50% of your armor as bonus armor to all other allies for 20 seconds. That's pretty good. So, if you're running up on a player, on an enemy, what have you, anything, you run up on them, you whip out that shield, and for 5 seconds, you are invulnerable. They will shoot you, it'll say immune, 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 and you just go to town. It's really easy. It's really fun. For the attributes, I rolled on their weapon damage at the top because I'm not too worried about being a tank because I let my shield do the tankiness for me. Obviously, when that immunity runs out and, you're doing a heroic mission or something, they take out the shield, take cover, whatever, wait for it to come back. That's why you have the glory days and the baker's dozen, what have you. However, in PvP, you whip out this shield and for 5 seconds you're immune, and if you are, not 4-on-1 outnumbered, you're going to win the battle 9 times out of 10, I promise you. Because they're going to freak out whenever they see that your shield is immune. They're going to freak out because your pistol is 2-tapping them, and it's just a lot of fun. I'm telling you right now, this is a must-have in the build, that Perfect Vanguard. Without the Perfect Vanguard, I would not go as squishy as I am. But with this Perfect Vanguard, it makes up for that. I'm telling you, it's really good. Now for the attributes, I have explosive resistance and armor regen, and then a blue mod slot, so I threw on there some bleed resistance. For the gloves, these are the MBC gloves, Seska. Now the Seska brand set bonus we get is 10% more crit chance. It came with maxed out weapon damage and hazard protection at 9.5%, and then I rolled on their crit chance at 6%. The only thing I would change, maybe get rid of the hazard for skill haste, crit damage, or headshot damage. Going to the holster, this is the Claws Out. It is your named Wyvernware holster. Now, the brand set bonus you get out of this is skill damage. I'm not too worried about that. It's okay. But the other thing that's really nice with this named holster is you get 500% melee damage, which is nice with a shield, and you also get 10% pistol damage. Both of those are maxed out. So that's how I'm getting my pistol damage up there so high. It's a lot of fun. Now it does come with skill damage as the other normal attribute, which is nice to go with that brand set bonus, but I'm not really using it too much, just so you guys know. I am mainly using this holster for the melee damage with my shield and also that pistol damage. And then finally, the knee pads. These are Providence Defense knee pads. I rolled weapon damage on there at 15%, and then luckily it came with crit chance and crit damage, so that's a pretty nice little pair. They're not maxed out or anything, you could get better, but RNG. Alright, now to the skills. I am using the Bulwark Ballistic Shield. This one has 4.7 million health, and it's only a tier 1. Pretty nice. So that, and I'm immune for 5 seconds every time I whip it out, so it's pretty nice. The other skill I am using is the Defender Drone. I actually use that with the shield. So what I do is every time I go into combat, PvP, PVE, whatever, when I first engage, I'll pull the shield down. I'm immune for 5 seconds, go to town, right? But when I reload, as I'm reloading my weapon, I'll shoot out that Defender Drone, because by the time I start shooting again, my shield's not going to be immune anymore. So I want the health from the shield, but then I also want that drone to try to deflect some of the damage, if that makes sense. And that is the build. Let's finish up with the stats. Alright, here is your stat sheet. I'm using perfect nearsighted for the primary, perfect lucky shot for the secondary, and liberty or death for my sidearm. Now this, let's switch it over to the pistol. Alright, so here are my weapon stat sheet for my Liberty pistol. 608,805 weapon damage. In PvP it drops down to 267,874. I have 46.4 crit chance, 34.4 crit damage, and 130 headshot damage on my pistol. Go down to the offensive tab. I have 100% on the dot, all weapons damage, and then I have 59% pistol damage. So with that being said, just on paper, I have 159% damage bonus. That is insane for a pistol. Just, man, it's crazy. A lot of fun, I'm telling you right now. For the gear talents, I am using Perfect Vigilance on the backpack and Perfect Vanguard for the chest piece. Go down to the defensive tab. I have 729,975 armor with 278,280 health. I do have some hazard, but not a lot. But what's pretty cool is I do have 34.9% burn resistance and 24.3% bleed resistance. I'm not really procced into those much at all, but it is nice to have that because bleed and burn are like top two status effects you're usually going to be under. And that is it, you guys. This is my Liberty pistol build for both PvE and PvP. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Don't forget, hit that like. If you are new, subscribe to the channel. I am Kamikazevondoom, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.